Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm not going to be able to back off anytime during this makeup or I'll go out of focus. So I'm just going to start off by grabbing the Get a Tint by Mark. It's the tinted moisturizer. This is in Buff Natural. It's a little bit dark for me, but I'm going to go ahead and use it and try to make it work. Just going to use a little bit, put it all over my face. As you can see, I have nothing on my face right now. I have moisturized and all that. So if you need to do that, make sure you do. If you want to apply a primer, you are more than welcome to. That will definitely help your makeup stay on better. If you're going out like dancing and all that. If you would rather use a full coverage foundation, go for it. I wasn't sure. I haven't looked to see if you have a foundation routine video or not, but I wasn't sure how keen you were to wearing a lot of makeup on your face. So that's why I stuck with a tinted moisturizer. That way you're just getting a little bit of coverage and it's also moisturizing your face. But as you know, the Get a Tint is almost like a lightweight foundation. So it does offer a little more coverage than a typical tinted moisturizer, which is good. I definitely like that about the product. Like I said, this isn't my perfect color, but we're going to make it work. So yeah, I have that on now. As you can see, that just kind of gives me some light coverage. I'm still going to have to go through and conceal some. Always make sure you get around your mouth really well, otherwise there's going to be a line of like white around your mouth. It's really, really important with like full coverage foundations, which just isn't, but still. We're going to go ahead and conceal. I'm just using my MAC's Studio Finish concealer. You can use whatever concealer you want, darling. So just go ahead and conceal any problem areas you have. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, so my eyes are pretty bad right now. All I'm doing is using short little strokes and pressing this into the eye, the like area under my eye. That way it doesn't like get too cakey or anything, and this also helps it to like melt into the area. That way it blends in a little bit better. Now if your eye bags are especially bad, like if they get really, really dark, the best thing you can do is blend in a triangle like that. Do you see that? Because what that does is that actually kind of takes the focus away from the fact that you're concealing just right here and kind of pulls the eye up. But mine aren't too bad. Just gotta do that now since now it's on one side. Oh, I got a few other problem areas to conceal. So we're just concealing our problem areas. You can see my scar right here from where I got stung by a jellyfish when I was in Mexico. Swam right into a thimble jellyfish when I was scuba diving. I get a lot of redness throughout my cheeks, which is why I usually use a full coverage foundation. If you have any redness in your cheeks and you don't want to tone it out, that's fine. You should probably be putting a blush over it. I do need to get around my nose. I get a lot of redness there. And then my one little problem area from the allergic reaction I had to Dolce & Gabbana lip gloss forever ago. Okay, so now we're done concealing. Well, my whole forehead's still left. Whoops. I'm having some hormonal breakouts right now, if you know what I mean. So my skin's a little worse than usual, and the fact that I just got over being sick doesn't really help. So we're putting this all over, and I'm not getting too thorough with it because after I do this tutorial, I'm going to be washing everything off and going to bed. I have to work a double tomorrow, and it's also supposed to be a giant ice storm, so I'm not very excited about that. Once you're done with that, I am going to be setting all of this with a powder foundation. I have the NYC Smooth and Natural Matte Powder Foundation. You can get this anywhere that carries NYC. I know both Meyer I don't know where all they have Meijer. I know Meijer and Walmart both carry this. Anywhere that carries NYC should have this because it's a relatively new product. So we are going to just take a powder brush. You can also use a kabuki brush for this, but I prefer to use a powder brush. You can also use a sponge to press and roll it into the skin, but I like to press it in with a brush. So we're just going to set that moisturizer and that concealer. This actually offers pretty good coverage for a powder. I don't usually like powder foundations because I don't feel like they offer enough coverage, but this one does pretty good. So now we're done with that. We are going to grab a bronzer and do some contouring. I'm just using NYC Sunny. It is a matte bronzer. I would also recommend Rimmel's Natural Bronzer in Sundance. This one has some shimmer though. That would be fine since you are wearing this out, and a little bit of shimmer is not going to hurt you at night. But just for the sake of safety, we're going to go with Sunny. I have a cough drop in my mouth. So we're going to suck in the cheeks. And you see that line right there? We're going to take the brush. This is a 168 from MAC. It's just a contoured face brush. It's fluffy. And we're going to take this. And I'm not going back and forth. I am doing a large circular motion. And then with what's left on the brush, you're going to brush the temples lightly and square off the jaw. A lot of people refer to this as the figure 3, but you're not making a 3 because you don't want to drag your brush, otherwise your face is going to kind of lose the point of the shadows. So, big circles there, squaring off the jaw and at the temple. Put this on the other side. You can also bronze the sides of your nose. You just don't want to use too much, otherwise it's going to get all over. So we are done with our bronzer. We're going to move on to blush and highlighting. I'm going to go ahead and grab a different brush. For this, I'm using a small powder brush. It's just rounded, kind of fluffy. And for this, I'm using my Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips in Healthy Glow. We're going to use the bottom 3 as a blush and the top 2 as a highlight. So, you're just going to tap it in the bottom 3. And there's 2 ways to find the apples of your cheeks. There's the funny one, and then there's the normal one. You just smile. And right here where your cheeks stick out, you want to blend that in a circle. Then once you start to build up some color there, you can start blending back in the same circular motion towards your hairline. The important thing is whenever you're bringing color to the edge of your face, you're blending it all the way out to here, you know, because you don't want a line where your ear is. Alright, now that that's done, I'm just cleaning off the brush by wiping it on my arm a little. You can wipe it on a towel, whatever you want to do. Now we're going to take it and press it in the top 2 colors. And you see this right here, where the light hits your cheekbone? That's where you're putting this. You can also put some at the top of your nose bone and just above the eyes. Some people also like to bring it around like that and kind of create a C at the edge of their eye. I do that sometimes. It depends. If you're going out and you're going to be out of the club and you're going to be in like darker lights, you can do the C because it's not going to look nearly as dramatic as if you do it in the middle of the sunshine. Okay, so our face is done. We have all of our contouring and everything. If you don't have a chapstick on your lips already, go ahead and do that. That's kind of something you should do as soon as you start doing your makeup. That way, when you put on lip color later, your lips are already nice and moist. So having a hell of a time finding a chapstick. This is just my pink Barbie one. I have no idea who distributes this. I don't really know anything about it, but it is Barbie on it and it's pink. moving on to your eyeballs. For your eyeballs, we are going to start off by putting on a primer by Hard Candy. I have this from something I got from Walmart. You could just as easily use the Mark Please Hold, I think is what it's called. I don't remember what our eye primer is called. But we're just going to put this all over the eyelid and all the way up to the brow bone. This is important because we're going to be using a base. And anytime you're going to be using a cream product on your eyes, you want to make sure you use a primer. Really, anytime you put anything on your eyes, you want to use a primer. This one's a little different than a lot of primers because it's a little, it's more of a gel consistency than a cream. So when you put it on, it's a little more wet feeling. But then it dries nice and smooth like they all do. I have Urban Decay Primer Potion, but John kind of usurped that, so I've been using this. Now for our base, we're going to be taking the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. It's just the white one. There's probably some black on there because I always have residue under my eyes from eyeliner. We're just going to put this all over the eye. Now I need to sharpen this. Always make sure any wooden pencils you use around your eyeballs are nice and sharp when you use them. And then below the eyeball as well. Make sure you have some in the inner corners of your eye too. Wow, that was way too much. Alright, now we're just going to blend this in. Now when I was originally planning this, I was going to use a look that involves some masking tape, scotch tape, the clear tape that you put on your eyeballs. But I decided against it because I didn't want this to be too high maintenance of a look. So I decided to not do that and to just go with using your natural eye shape and everything. Alright, so for this look, we are going to be using one eye quad, that's it. Or one trio, it's not a quad. We're going to use the Wet n Wild Trio Spoiled Brat. It's one of the new ones. I was originally going to use the one that you sent me, which is in Don't Steal My Thunder. But I decided that since you're going out and you're probably going to be wearing like a little black dress, you want a little bit of color on your eyes. So I went with Spoiled Brat. What you could do though, so you could very easily substitute any color for this bright pink. So say, since you have your green eyeballs, I think you have green eyeballs. I can't remember if they're green or brown. I think they're green. So if you wanted to go with like a purple or pinks are going to look good. You could even go with maybe some blues because a lot of green eyes have like blue flecks in them. You could use anything like that. And I'm having a hell of a time getting this palette open. I'm going to ruin my nails. So we are going to start off with, as soon as I find the brush I'm looking for, find one that's actually clean. We're going to use a flat shader brush. So we're going to start with this pink color and we're going to put this all over the eyelid. However, we're going to keep it out of the inner corner. That's important. Always tap off your excess. And then since we have a cream base on, you're just pressing this on the eyelid. You don't need to rub it on, because if you do, you're going to get a lot of fallout. That's what's nice about using a cream base, is it gives you maximum color payoff without having to actually work too much, to be honest. I've already kind of messed up out here in this outer corner, but since I'm planning on dragging it down into the bottom lash line, it works out. However, when you're doing it, try to be a little bit neater than me. I'm always kind of a mess. We're taking this all the way up to the crease. And then we're also going to take it underneath as well. And down here you can do more of a brushing motion. You're kind of going to press and then blend. Again, you're going to avoid the inner corner. So I still kind of brought this down further than I wanted. So we're just gonna try to clean that up a little bit. And I am using the brush now in a brushing like a windshield wiper motion in the crease to kind of pull this color out just a little bit. That way we can blend it into our next color. Now I'm going to repeat the process on the other eye. I don't know how I got pink all the way up there, but I did at some point, so, you know. So we're blending that really good into the crease. And then we're just going to go ahead and use the same brush. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take that brow bone color. We're going to start working this into the inner corner. And blending it into the pink. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect at first. Just keep blending. And then we're going to do that in the bottom corner as well. Bringing it out to that pink color. We're going to repeat that process on the other eye. So now it's going to look a little bit like this. We're also going to take that silver color and press it up underneath of the eyebrow. Now that is all you're going to worry about putting up there for now, because we're also going to blend that down into the black crease color here in a second. I'm going to grab a fluffy blending brush, and we're going to just barely touch this into the crease color and make sure you tap off the excess. You would rather start too light than too dark with a dark color. And you're just going to start off by dotting this here in the corner, and as you can see I don't have very much on there, so we'll grab some more, dot it into the corner, and then start blending it up into the crease and into the outer corner. And we're just going to slowly work this in and build it up. So we've kind of created an eye shape here. And I want to blend a little more color up here. And then, like I said, we're going to come back in with our flat shader brush, grab some more of that silver, and then use that to start blending down towards the black. And there's too much right here now. We're just going to blend that out. And we're blending this down towards the black. So we have something like this. So we're just going to go ahead and repeat that process on the other side. I realize I keep switching eyes on you, and that doesn't really make things easy. Alright, so I'm going to go back in with that flat shader brush again. And blend down towards the black. So it looks like this. If you feel like you've lost too much of your pink, You can take your flat shader brush, clean it off, dip back in that pink, go back over the part of your lid where your pink was in the beginning. So you can always layer eyeshadow. I especially like looks like this, where you have a really bright color on the lid and then a darker color in the crease, because I have deep set eyes, and my eyes, and then they're also hooded, so it's really easy for my eyelids to disappear if I wear a dark color on the lid and in the crease. So something like this helps keep me from losing my eyeballs. So now that we're done with that, we are going to move on to liner. For liner, I'm just going to use my Mark Keep It Going. You could also just as easily use the Nowhere to Run. I always want to call it Walk the Line, and I have no idea why. But the Nowhere to Run would be just as easy to use, and it stays forever. I don't have to tell you. You're a Mark girl. You know all about it. So we're just going to take this, and we are going to grab an angled liner brush. And we're not going to get too fancy with the eyeliner. I don't want this to be a look that's like hard to do or anything. So we're just going to keep this eyeliner very, very simple and just line the top. If you feel like branching out into a cat eye, go for it. But like I said, I'm just going to keep the liner very, very simple. So that's what I have on top. It's up to you if you add liner to the bottom or not. I am not going to. However, you are more than welcome to. I'm just trying to keep this to where you don't lose too much of your eyes, since you are going to be out at night. And again, I'm going to like hit this brush all over everything, so just excuse me if I mess this up. Alright, so our eyeliner is done, and I lied, I do want to add a little bit in the bottom. So the camera hates me, it stopped recording there. So I finished my eyeliner, I added Scandalash to my top and bottom lashes. I did end up going back and adding the Almay eyeliner on my waterline, because I felt like the look was too light on the waterline. And then I ended up adding 2 glosses to my lips. I used the Glow Baby Glow Luxe Gloss Petal Luxe and the Glow Baby Glow in Girly Girl. I went with a lip gloss just to kind of keep the lips simple and low maintenance. That way you can touch it